anything. I would still look out for other people, but I just wasn't hungry for anything. And my son was telling me, well, you need to go to dialysis because, what were you saying, son?
So what happened is the doctors told my dad that he needed to start dialysis, and my dad, once again, he's never drank, never done any drugs, never done anything that he believed would lead to that sort of lifestyle. And so he was reluctant. So we let him know that, we had to let him know that without going to dialysis, without receiving this basically life-saving treatment, he would eventually die. His kidneys would fail, and according to what I read, your kidneys fail and you basically drown in your own fluids that are from the inside that are poisoning you. And once again, this is just his medical expertise was limited, so this was not something he understood or something he knew. So I let him know that basically this would be the outcome. If you don't go to dialysis, you'll eventually end up drowning and dying in your own fluid, which is, once again, something that I didn't learn until it happened to my dad. Something that just wasn't researched until it happened to my dad. And then since then, we've done a little bit more studying, looked into a few more things. One of the things that I also didn't know, according to Science Daily, more than 2 million people die prematurely every year because they don't receive dialysis treatment. And that's worldwide. It's not in the United States, it's worldwide. But that's an astounding number. I mean, we do pretty good in the United States. It sounds like we do pretty good at trying to treat this. But if people don't know, if people haven't been educated to how severe their problem is or how severe the symptoms are, then they don't receive that kind of treatment, which is truly what happened to my father.
Yes, that's very true, because it goes on, because it's like you just steady aging and getting older, and you're thinking, well, hell, we lived all these years and we're just steady getting older. But when you hit ill health, that's it. It goes from bad to worse.
Yes. One of the things that I really would like to bring out, especially with my father, is that when you get diagnosed with dialysis, with kidney failure, either acute or chronic kidney failure, one of the things the doctors won't really tell you, or they won't really push, but you as a patient should look into, is getting a transplant as soon as possible. When we saw my doctor's nephrologist, the renal doctor, they had told us, okay, once the kidneys get down to around 10 or 12%, that's when we'll start looking at doing a transplant. But once his kidneys reached that lowest stage, they had already began causing strokes. They had pushed his blood pressure so high that it caused him to actually lose sight in one eye. And turns out, after research, after going through all of this, we found out that he never needed to wait for that transplant, because his children were available and we were willing to do a transplant for him. He could have had a transplant. He could have had a new kidney years ago. And I looked it up, and unfortunately I don't know the doctor's name right offhand, but I will find it for you. But one of the doctors, or a head doctor in nephrology, he said that a kidney transplant isn't your last resort. It should always be the first resort. If you need dialysis, before getting dialysis, you need to try to find a kidney. If you can get a kidney, that will nip all these other issues in the bud. And this is unfortunate, but doctors don't get paid for doing transplants. Doctors get paid for getting you to go to dialysis. There's mega money in going to dialysis, receiving treatment all the time. So the doctor's job is to keep you healthy enough to get you to the point where you start going to the dialysis. My father has been going for about 5 weeks now, I believe, and there's a gentleman that's there who's been going to dialysis for, 40 years?
Yeah.
There's been going to dialysis for 40 years, has not received a kidney yet. That's money that the government is just feeding this company. And of course, and this man, that's 3 times a day, that's 3 times a week, 3 hours a day of this man's life unfortunately, I don't know the gentleman, but untold issues that he's probably got because of my dad's kidney failure. His blood pressure has skyrocketed. Because of his kidney failure, he's had strokes. Because of his kidney failure, he's had multiple medical issues that once we did the research, could have more than likely been 100% avoided. His health could have probably been 50 to 60 times better had he gone to dialysis. Not gone to dialysis, not waited for a dialysis, but had he gotten the transplant that we didn't know was an option, that we didn't really know was an option because the doctors didn't put it out there. So if you have high blood pressure or if you have some other symptom, find out if your kidneys are failing. Because my father had high blood pressure for years, but the doctors never told him that his kidneys were failing, and they never told him that having a kidney transplant would have circumvented all these other following issues. So once again, it's a learning experience, but unfortunately you're learning at the cost of someone's health and someone's life.
Right.
So try to learn quickly. Try to be involved, try to be active, because it truly makes a difference to someone. There's other information that I'd really like to get out and look and tell you, but the most important thing is to try to make sure that you're paying attention to your health, because and I don't want to just say the black community, but all people, everyone, we let things slide sometimes because we feel healthy. I can still do 100 push-ups, I can still do sit-ups, I can still walk, but feeling healthy is not the same as being healthy.
That's very true. That's very, very true. Yeah. And this is my condition now. As time goes on, my body is deteriorated, and a lot of things that I used to be able to do, and now that I need glasses, and I need to very shortly I'll need to use what is it? The doctor explained to me last week.
Oh, because he's had once again because of the strokes and because of the high blood pressure, my father, he literally lost an eye, and the other one is going out, and we're assuming he's going to really soon be declared legally blind. And once again, these are all issues that have stemmed. These are all issues that have stemmed from the amount of stress that has been put on him by his kidneys failing, and all of that is, once again, due to not bad lifestyle choices, but not knowing, just not knowing that, hey, if you like to eat a rack of ribs, eventually that'll lead up to issues. And if you like to drink soda more than you like to drink water, that will eventually become an issue for your kidneys. So it's not, once again, it's not always that we're making bad choices, that we're leading a bad lifestyle. Sometimes we're just not being as healthy as we should. And if you're not being as healthy as you should, and you're not seeing doctors or seeing someone to help you know what areas you need to curtail, what areas you need to fix, you end up diminished in some way. And that's, and nobody wants that for their family members. Nobody wants that for people they love.
And that's very important. That's why I try to invite all you people on Popo Community for Justice to speak on any subjects and any matters that you feel led to speak on, because it's very important, because the information I'm sharing with all you people out there in TV land regarding me, it's very important, and I believe that you have information to want to share with other people out there in TV land that you want them to know about you. And if you want to do that, please come on Popo Community for Justice and tell them your heartfelt feelings and things that you felt through ignorance or through knowledge or through education or whatever the case may be, or how your life turned around or have not yet turned around. But if you can help direct people to a path that'll be beneficial to them, then that's what I want you to be able to do, because I think this is very, very, very important. And I was very happy my son has been with me today and came on the show today to share with all you people out there in TV land. His name is Cecil Hatchett, and I just want to thank all you wonderful people. He's one of my sons, and he's fantastic. I got quite a few sons and daughters, but he's been very helpful with information and trying to enlighten me, to let me know that, hey, if you don't take these classes and do what you need to do, you'll die. It's just that simple. You'll just drop dead. And I know as I've been going to these classes of the last 5 weeks, or was it 5 weeks?
It's about 5 weeks.
About 5 weeks. I had a lady friend that I met. She had a relative that used to take the classes, but than her.
And by classes he means dialysis. He had one of the ladies that he's been going to treatment with. Her sister was going through dialysis, and I don't know how. Do you remember how long she said she was going through?
Well, she just quit going to classes, and then she
Dialysis.
dropped dead. And that's how it goes. The bottom line is that she dropped dead. She just took it for granted that I don't have to be here all the time. I have to come all the time, or I come when I want to come. And the price you pay for not being attentive is you forsaking your life or giving up your life. That's the price you pay. You drop dead. It's all over with.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
It's funny. I looked up an article. According to the Center for Disease Control, Disease Control Prevention, 10% of American adults suffer from kidney failure, which is about 20 million people. And then a doctor with the Center for Disease Control says that over 600,000 people are on dialysis and over 100,000 people are on the transplant waiting list. These numbers are from July 28th of 2014. So I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly when those numbers will be updated. But once again, 600,000 people in the United States, that's not the world, just the United States, are on dialysis, and 100,000 people on the waiting list to be on to receive a kidney. You know, and so that means the other 500,000 people are just lifelong people who are just going to be suffering from kidney failure. That's a huge portion of our population, and those are all family members. Those are all people that someone's concerned about, people that someone is going to meet, people that someone loves. And you know, these incidents might have been avoided. They might have been curtailed had they had the knowledge. That things that we hadn't received. So I don't know. It's a lot of people. Go ahead, Dad.
So if you need to get your blood checked or get your body checked or take better care of your body, I know I go to 28th and Wygant, and it's 20th Wygant, right?
I believe so. I believe it is 20th and Wygant.
That's where I go, and it's very, very important that I go, and I continue to go, and you have to go about 3 hours a day. But you take great care of yourself, and the people take great care of me, and I'm very happy to go. And now that I am going, the doctors, they check on me. The nurses, they help take great care of me, the men and women. They help make sure that everything is going correctly and that my body is helping getting built back up. And now I'm starting to like food again. And I ate about half a dozen eggs and stuff like that.
His appetite really has improved. Really has improved since he's started going to dialysis.
Yes, that's true.
Last week the show was not on, and we went to the coast. And while we were at the coast, we went to, where did we go? Spirit Mountain. And he went from having a very small appetite to, we were at Spirit Mountain, and he literally ate a rack of ribs by himself, almost 2 pounds of ribs. I don't feel good about that, but I do feel good that his appetite has improved so much. Not the best son for letting him eat 2 pounds of ribs, I do understand, but it is fantastic that his appetite's gone from eating minimally to eating almost everything they put up the tray. So that I do feel good about. And he was saying that my father does, he goes to 28th and Wygant for his procedures, but when you sign up for dialysis, your doctors will decide. They'll see where it's open. So you can't, if you're going to be going to dialysis, look around, find the different clinics, see what you like, see what's close to home. But in the end, there's so many people, like I said, 600,000 people in the United States, so many people going that you can't always be at the clinic close to home. But don't let that stop you from going. If your doctors find you somewhere and it's 2 miles away, 5 miles away, go, because it really does improve your life. My father's energy level has improved. It has improved. Once again, his appetite has definitely improved. So, I mean, you just take care of yourself. Try to, wherever they suggest you go, wherever they can get you in, go there and just make it work. Make it work.
And I got great doctors, and they take great care of me. And it's very interesting because when they check you, I was thinking that people will do a lot of question asking and a lot of research and things of this nature, but they're just real laid back, but they're but the paperwork is real good, and they're always moving you forward into a better lifestyle and a healthier lifestyle until you can uh, get a kidney transplant, and that's what I'm working toward. And I wouldn't want my children, my own children, to have, because they got their children of their own, to have to give me a kidney transplant, because they were very anxious to want to help give me a kidney transplant. And I'd rather get one from dead people. That's my own feeling. But my children, that's another issue with me of trying to get me to come around to their way of thinking. But they got their own future children, and their children well, hopefully will be healthy and strong. But if their health for whatever reason fails them, they have their wonderful parents to fall back on to help them help themselves. My children have always been in my corners, and I've always been in my children's corners and other people's children's corners, helping them move them forward and accomplish things. And it's all about playing to win and moving everyone forward. So it's all about when people say, we'll give up our kidney and we'll do this transplant and all that wonderful stuff. I'm very thankful and very appreciative to them for that. But if someone passes, I'd appreciate getting their not being able to use that kidney if their life expire. But I wouldn't want them to have to give up their kidneys. So out there loving, caring, they would be happy to do so. But I want them to stay healthy and strong, just like I thought I was healthy and strong. Play to win, continue to move forward, trust God Almighty, and hopefully everything will work out for any and everybody. I love you all out there in TV land, and that's why I invite all you people to look at Pope for Community for Justice, help any and everybody to move forward and to do what's right. And a lot of you people got loving relatives and friends that are in pitiful condition health-wise, and I pray that they get better and recover and all that wonderful stuff.
So I don't know if everybody knows what dialysis is, but dialysis basically means, dialysis is a, what is it? Excuse me, I want to read this to you. Dialysis may be used in those with rapidly developing loss of kidney function called acute kidney injury. Dialysis is used as a temporary measure in either acute kidney injury or in those waiting for kidney transplant. Excuse me. In Great Britain and the United States, dialysis is paid for by the government. I was trying to read you the definition of dialysis because it is interesting. It's the measure where they take out, where they remove excess water and minerals from your body. That's what dialysis is for, because your kidneys won't do that anymore. Your kidneys refuse to take out the excess water, the excess minerals, excess vitamins, and so all that excess eventually starts to poison you. And I had the definition here, and unfortunately I lost it, and I do apologize. But it's funny, the first successful dialysis was performed in 1943. Some of these things are interesting, and some of these things are good to know. It's good to know why you're going to get certain procedures, because if you don't know, then you might turn them down. And it's, and that's what my dad's issue, one of his things with it was, he didn't know why he needed dialysis and what the purpose of it was. And it's basically just so that it can remove the excess water, excess minerals, and excess vitamins. If you have a family member who's suffering, like they have kidney failure and they have swelling, unnecessary swelling, and they're not going to dialysis, that dialysis will remove that excess water, help with the swelling. And my father can attest to that.
Yes, and that's very, very important, because I had excess swelling. At least at first I had excess swelling, and I'd have to lift my legs on pillows to take the swelling down in my legs, because of the water was selling in different parts of my body. And the doctors would check me all the time to see if the water would be would recede, or did it need to be, or the issue would need to be addressed, and they would address it, and they took all that water weight, the excess water weight out of my legs and things of that nature. So it's very important. So a lot of you people out there are looking at yourselves deteriorate and not knowing why and how come your body is falling apart, and you need to pay closer attention to your health and all that good stuff. Please work out, walk a lot. What is it? Walk a lot, run a lot. What?
So they do want you to, if you can get at least an hour of exercise, an hour of cardiovascular exercise, that helps move the fluids in your body. When your kidneys are failing, they don't. Once again, they're not pulling out all the they're not pulling out all the water. They're not pulling out all the vitamins and all the solutes from your body. So when you walk, when you're walking or running or bicycling, the motion on your muscles is literally forcing all that water to cycle through your body, and then you don't end up with water pooling in your legs, water pooling in your feet. You don't end up with those issues if you're walking. Also, because if you're walking a lot, if you start walking or if you're exercising, it helps your heart become stronger. It helps make your heart stronger, which once again helps with your kidney failure. Because your kidneys are failing, they are basically polluting your body, and your heart is having a harder time pushing, your heart will have a harder time working. And because your heart is having a harder time working, you become more tired and you end up sitting around a lot more. And it's basically a vicious cycle. Because you're not exercising, you're sitting. Because you're sitting, those poisons are building up, that water is building up, and you're starting to retain more water. And it makes you tired, and it makes you not want to get up and go exercise. And it may seem like too much at first, but the more that you get up and move, the more that you put yourself to work, the healthier you are, the healthier you're making yourself, the healthier you're making yourself. Sitting around mentally it might feel like, oh God, I'm tired, I need to rest. And so that sitting might feel comfortable, but it's doing you a disservice. So you want to get up and you want to exercise. Try to get in at least an hour a day. At least an hour a day to help push all that fluid and all that stuff to keep it circulating, so you don't like rusty pipes end up building up all this sediment in your veins, and once again increasing how fast your body deteriorates.
Absolutely, yes. And another thing I like to mention, all you people out there in TV land, I got a lot of friends, and they like to buy nice, expensive clothing and wear, and I'm very happy for them. But I'm one of those kind of people I'm not one of those kind of people that spend a lot of money. I try to make a lot of money, and I run through a lot of money, and I loan a lot of money out and give a lot of money away. But I believe in the different thrift stores, and they got a lot of people that they know, tons of people that have either dropped dead or passed away or given stuff away, and they got great stuff in the thrift stores. And if they can save you money going to thrift stores, invest that money. Go to the thrift store and pick yourself up a bicycle or two, or pick yourself a walking machine or whatever. Because when people part with that good equipment, it's there for the next person that's thinking all the time, playing to win like I am all the time, and ready to put that equipment to use all the time, and not wanting to get it because they want a brand new, fresh, spanking new tag on it because I was the first one bought it and the first one used it. I don't think like that. If I can get something at a really great price and it can render me the same end result as it could render the person that had it before me, then let that be the cause. Because if you want to go to the 24-hour fitness and spend all that money just to be a member of 24-hour fitness, and do that. But if you don't, then if you can afford to pick up some good items at a thrift store, at whatever the name of the thrift store will be, then pick it up at a good deal. And if you bought it from somebody that bought it and thought they could keep it but have no more use for it or no more space for it, now maybe it'll benefit you. It'll fit perfectly in a space that you have at your home, or maybe an area that you have at your home, and then put that to use and help yourself become a more healthier individual. I just want to get that information out there, all my people out there in TV land. So pay attention.
So this article was published in the Cleveland Clinic, and it says a kidney transplant is not a last resort. It's a first resort, says nephrologist Emilio Poggio, MD, an expert in kidney transplant for people who meet the requirements for kidney transplantation. Kidney transplantation, excuse me, I can't read that word. Kidney transplantation is the best option for treatment. One of the things, what dialysis artificially does what healthy kidneys do. It pumps blood out of your body, cleans it, and returns it to your body. Treatments usually last 3 to 4 hours, 3 times a week. Once again, I know we've said that, but once again, this was a doctor whose main job is nephrology, telling you that dialysis is great if it's your only option, but as soon as possible, try to get that transplant. A transplant is 100% the way to go.
Right.
I don't know. So now here are a couple of positive and negatives about dialysis. People often say that they don't realize how bad they had been feeling until they got treatment. Within the first few months, their appetite is back, they start gaining weight, and they have more energy. But the time commitment to dialysis, once again, you are talking 3 hours a day, 3 times a week. Now, something that hasn't been an issue for my father, but has been for other people who go to dialysis. Some people feel tired once they leave. Once you leave dialysis, they feel pretty drained. And then that following day, they're energized and up and ready to go. And then when they go to dialysis again, so it ebbs and flows. So you're up and then you're down once again. But once again, these are just some of the things that if you are looking at dialysis or you're putting it off, these are some of the issues you may want to look at. If you constantly feel tired, you constantly feel drained, dialysis will help that. Dialysis will help you build your energy back up. My father's it's been a blessing for my father because he's had more energy. He's never lost energy once he's left dialysis. He'll leave dialysis and go home and he'll feel energized and feel refreshed. Now, once again, this might be the other gentleman's, but not everyone can receive a transplant. So waiting around for a transplant may not be the way to go. Not everyone is eligible for one. I know they say, let's see, Dr. Poggio considers many factors in deciding who is a candidate for a new kidney, including medical conditions like diabetes and heart failure. But there are ways you can improve your candidacy. Stay healthy and active. Once again, being healthy, being active makes you more viable for actually receiving that kidney. So if you're sitting around, if you're eating too much, if you're overindulging, you're hurting yourself, or you're taking yourself out of the running to actually get a new kidney and get a new lease on your life. I don't know. It says choosing wisely, which I do agree. You want to try to go to the best dialysis center, a dialysis center that meets your needs, a place that you feel comfortable at and that you're going to be comfortable going 3 times a week, a place that won't make you want to miss treatments, because going to treatment is the most important thing for someone who actually needs treatment. Anything you want to say about going there?
Yeah, treatment is very important. And in fact, like I was saying, I got some great doctors that come to my treatment center, and they check on me and they see how my progress is coming. And they make out lists, and I says, well, give those lists to my sons and daughters to make sure that I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm eating all the correct foods. And I just want to keep a list of everything that they've repeated to me for my children to have at their fingertips, so we can all be on the same page to keep me healthy and strong and moving forward toward better health. That's what it's really all about, to try and stay as healthy and as strong as I possibly can. And I'm very thankful for the people on 28th and Wasco. And I think all the ladies and gentlemen are very kind. And they have offices on Martin Luther King and Lombard. They just opened up one office and another place on Alberta and
MLK as well.
Em- is
Alberta and Martin Luther King as well. So off of Alberta, 2 new offices in the north side opened up. One on Lombard and Martin Luther King, and one on Alberta and Martin Luther King.
okay.
But once again, you don't get to decide where you go. Once you start treatment, once you start dialysis, the doctors will find whatever facility is open and has space and times. So my dad goes at 5 in the morning, and that wasn't the time we chose, but it was what was available. But once you begin going to treatments, then you can try to change to a facility that's closer to you, closer home, more convenient for whatever your need is. But in the beginning, just start going. In the beginning, just go wherever they can get you in.
That's true.
Yes.
That's very, very true.
As soon as they can get you in, you will start feeling better. As soon as they can get you in, you will start to see a difference.
Yes.
Yes. And you really do want to listen to what your doctor is saying about your dietary concerns. Try to change your eating habits to match what they're saying you need for your new lifestyle, because it makes a difference. It really does increase. If your body's not trying to fight off tons of protein, if your body's not trying to fight off tons of sugar, then it helps with dialysis. That dialysis will increase that energy level of yours even more. And it's something they told us. One of the things we moved my dad to is a lot of frozen fruits. Frozen fruits, they've said, frozen fruits they're just a lot better for you. And so we've moved to a lot of frozen fruits, a lot of yogurts, things like that. And it's made a difference. And once again, with that and dialysis, it helped his energy level. So if you're going, or if you're having these issues, just go see the nutritionist that the dialysis center recommends for you, because they really will have some creative ideas that can help you improve your state of life right now.
And they have constant nutritionists there. So if you have any questions that you have that are unanswered, they'll be happy to answer your questions for you. And if they can't answer for you at that moment, they'll get back to you and get it answered, because they want to keep you inspired and keep you moving forward. So I just want all you wonderful people out there to get healthy and to stay healthy. And that's what it's really all about. And that's what Popo Community for Justice is all about.
Another thing too, for some people, I mean, some of us don't have transportation, some of us are on the bus, or some of us don't have family members available. But if you go to the dialysis center, once you get there, they have counselors who can help. They have counselors who can help you get set up with transportation, with ride shares, with medical cabs, with medical things. So if part of your issue is just not being able to get to a facility or not having anyone who can take you, go to the facility the first time and talk to the counselor. The counselors will get you set up with some kind of medical transportation, so that you have a ride to the facility and a ride home. Because for us, that was going to be a bit of an issue. I work at hours that are inconvenient for his dialysis times, but they got us worked out within one session. We went the first day. The second day, they had medical transportation ready and set up so that he could be given a ride to dialysis and a ride home. So don't let odd things stop you from receiving the medical treatment that you deserve.
And they're able to take me and see me to my cab ride and back, and to my cab ride back home.
So they actually help him, once again, because his vision isn't the best, and because he leaves so early in the morning. The cab driver literally walks up to our front door and helps him down to the car, and then helps him from the car into the building. So the people that they get are compassionate and concerned, and they put forth an effort. So if that's something that makes you uncomfortable or makes you nervous, just know that they really go out of their way to try to have the best people give you care.
Very true. That's a very true statement. Yes, and I greatly appreciate and thank your taxi drivers. What's the name of those taxi drivers?
They vary. They vary. The medical transportation people who pick up my father vary. So you don't always get the same people, but they do try to, within that week, they do try as much as possible to bring in the same 3 or 4 drivers. It's not always the same just because of time scheduling, but they always try to get the same 3 or 4, so know where my father is going for his treatments, know when he's coming home, know what his limitations may be. So it makes a difference. It makes a difference. And if you're in that facility, or if you're in that position, just know that they will look out for you and try to look out for yourself.
And I just want to again to thank the doctors and nurses and helpers, all the people that work at these facilities. I just really want to just my thanks go out to all you people on 28th and Wasco.
Yes, 28th and Wasco.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the once again facility my father goes to, but there are multiple. So depending on where you live, there are facilities close to you.
Yes.
But the main thing is talk to your doctors. If you're having whatever your issue is, once again, my father had been having high blood pressure and he had it for years, but he hadn't been diagnosed. No one had told him his kidneys were failing. They hadn't looked into it until he had had a stroke, and they had to delve deeper. But if they had, then maybe we would have been able to curtail some of the issues he's had from the high blood pressure. So if you've noticed, like just you personally, if you've noticed that you're having swelling, if you have high blood pressure, if you're having strokes, if you're having whatever your ailment is, make sure that you're urging your doctors to go in depth, to look at you as thoroughly as possible, because there might be some underlying factor that they're just glancing over, and you don't want that. You want to try to get whatever your issue is, whatever your health concern, flushed out as soon as possible.
That's very true, because I'm dealing with congestive heart failure and all those other different.
So my father currently has congestive heart failure. He's suffering from kidney failure. He's suffering from diabetes, and he has mild strokes. The strokes are the hardest because you never know, because they're mild. He might have little ones that you don't realize are happening, and because he has diabetes, sometimes the diabetes and the strokes may look alike if he hasn't had his blood sugar isn't being regulated properly. So just once again, these are my father's issues, and you may have, whatever your issues may be, just try to have somebody help you and try to be on top of them. Try it, because being on top of them really can increase your quality of life.
That's true. That's very, very true.
Yeah.
So I was going to change the subject a little bit. I was going to speak on that subject called Black Lightning, right? No.
Yeah.
I know it seems a little bizarre, but I'm just trying to let Black African Americans know that we are in the movies and doing very, very well, moving forward. And Black Lightning and what's that other show?
Black Panther. You're speaking of the movie
Black Panther that made over $1 billion. It was another black movie by another in the state of Oregon, another actor group. I can't think of.
I don't know.
But it was a female, and
well, Oprah Winfrey and A Wrinkle in Time are doing well, and I mean that's once again it's got Oprah Winfrey. I don't know the director, but it's a black director again. Then and the star, the main little child. So there's a lot of really amazing, really positive African American movies that are out right now. And a lot of really dynamic African actors and directors and just people just doing amazing things. And I don't know, I'm not exactly sure where my father's going with it, but just no matter who you are, just remember that African, black, African and black, same thing, Asian, whatever your ethnicity, just know that there are role models out there for you, people who are doing amazing things and that want you to surpass them. There's always something that you can do. There's always somewhere that you can go. There's always an ability. We all have talents and we all have gifts that we can build upon. And that's once again like with Black Lightning, which is a great TV show, and hopefully it does well. You know, it's got an almost all black cast with Black Panther, which once again it's predominantly a black cast. There's Asian movies like which is old school, but Joy Luck Club, an all Asian movie, which is fantastic. There's movies of different ethnicities that are amazing, and then you can get out there and go see and support. There's, once again, just at PCM, I'm sure there's productions going on here at Open Signal that that are fantastic and that you should watch and check out. There's always something. There's always minority producers, directors, musicians that need support, and that you can come and support. Just once again, coming down here to take a class, learn how to move the cameras, learn how to do anything that supports people trying to better themselves. There's just so much going on.
And you can become producers and film producers and TV producers. And there's all these wonderful titles you can acquire, and then you go out there and demonstrate these titles and then become these individuals that hopefully become yourself in the future, yourself becoming billionaires or millionaires or making tons of monies. Inch by inch, life is a cinch. Yard by yard, life is hard. But inch your way to the victory, because that's what I'm always promoting. Me as a Negro, colored, Black, African American, I'm always trying to push people forward to play the win. What do we have, 4 minutes, Brother Ron?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay, thank you. And so I'm steady trying to get people to play to win and to do what's right and to have fun and enjoy life and learn from any and everyone that you can learn from, because they'll expand your intelligence and expand your mental knowledge. And that's what this is all about. It's just trying to help each other's minds grow and to benefit each other and one another and everybody from all over the world. And so these different subject matters that my son had pointed out, he's pointed out subject matters so we can speak intelligently on my taking classes for what?
Dialysis.
For dialysis. And I've invited many people on this show here to come forward, and the invite is always there. If you come or don't come, I don't care. But if you do come, you're always welcome. There's always a seat waiting for you, and there's always an audience look forward to coming and being here with you. And that's what it's all about. I've invited one woman, I invited her and her family to come back and rejoin us again, her and her children, because they had a subject matter to speak on, and she was thinking, well, maybe in the future they come and further emphasize on the subject matter. I was saying, well, the invitation is there, and that's to any and everyone. You got many people running for different offices, and that's fine too. If you're running for governor, if you're running for whatever you want to run, if Trump, you know, I always call him Trump. So he's running for president again. So if he wants to continue to clown himself, then that's fine too, because that's what he does. Because he makes a zip damn fool of himself, and I'm very thankful for that, because he speaks without thinking or after have afterthought, and that's all good too. But we understand that this is a man that speaks his mind, and that's how it goes. We as African Americans, we speak our mind. Everybody on the planet speaks their mind. He's just an individual who ends up with his foot in his mouth. So that's fine with me. So you go ahead with your bad self, President Trump, because I have no problem with you.
So I did want to say something else too.
Please.
Some people, I mean, if you don't want to come on the show or if you don't want to be in front of the camera, one of the things my dad's show is about is trying to help all the community better themselves. All of us have information that other people could use, other people might find valuable. If you know something if you have a piece of information that you think is valuable, please, once again, contact my dad through YouTube, contact his email account, just put it out there so that we can look into it and research it. I just recently had somebody who was speaking to me about HUD homes, and how if you're a teacher or if you're a police officer, there's certain things, if you have certain positions and you want to buy a home, you can go to HUD and they will let you buy a home for half the price that another person will buy it for if it's under the Good Neighbors program. And this is just something that somebody brought up to me. If you're a teacher or if you're a police officer or a fireman, you're considered a good neighbor, and you can buy a HUD home at half the price of what it's being listed as. Once again, people have these experiences, this knowledge, and sometimes they may not want to come on the show, but share it with us so that we can put it out there for other people. Because somebody out there, there's a lawyer, there's a police officer, a teacher, there's a fireman, there's somebody out there who may want that knowledge or may want that experience and just may not be able to get it. So if you don't want to come on the show, please contact my dad through YouTube or through his email account or whatever, and just send us that information so that we can put it out there for the rest of the community. Once again, and, you know, if we ever come up with other things, this is just, even though it's called Po Folks Community Need for Justice, you know, it's about everybody. Everybody needs justice. People need jobs. People need, you know, justice comes in many different forms. It's not always about law. Sometimes it's just about being able to afford to a better quality of life. So if you know where to find good jobs, how to get jobs with the city, how to get jobs with the federal government, if you know anything that other people might find valuable, just write us, call us, find some way to put it out there for us so we can put it out there for the rest of the audience. And we appreciate that.
That's very true. Because I come pretty hard on people, but you know, that's how I do things. But my son's very loving and caring, and he's very responsible, and I respect and appreciate all that kindness and wonderfulness. So, again, we only have a few minutes left. Brother Ron, did you have any more?
We got about 5 more minutes left.
Oh, okay.
And so once 5 more minutes, and we just want to reiterate, you know, that my dad's show is about reaching the community because he cares about the community, he cares about the people in it, and trying to bring whatever information or knowledge that he can to all of you so that you can share it with your family, share it with your friends, so that you can improve your quality of life. If you improve your quality of life, improve the quality of life for people around you. I mean, and that's what all of us want for everyone. You know, we all want the people we love to be taken care of as best as possible.
That's very true.
So, I don't know. And I love my dad. And I love my dad. I love my brother. Well, since we're on, my brother who's in the military. And if you have military or family members, you know, once again, we just want to send prayers out to all of them because, you know, my dad luckily he has a daughter-in-law who's amazing and she's a major in the Marines and a son who's a corpsman with the Marines, and they're overseas, but we've had other relatives and, you know, not everybody makes it home. So we want to send our prayers and our wishes to all of you and just, once again, whatever, if your family's military, if they're police, if they're government, whatever they do, we just want to let you know that we care. And if you want to talk about it, if you want to mention them, if you want to email us or YouTube us or whatever, just say whatever, just because let people know that you love them, that you're thinking about them. It's like we're thinking about you.
Amen. That's very, very true. That's very, very true. Yes. And God Almighty we trust, and God Almighty loves you, and we love you as well. So we want the best for everyone and anyone. So stay strong, stay focused, and play to win every day 24/7. I'm letting you know all about myself because I want you to know my condition and my situation and however I can try and improve myself. Hopefully you can try and improve yourself. Woman or man, it doesn't make any difference. And they put you down there on the TV as Cecil Jr., right?
Yeah, they put me as Junior. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. So
That's
I'm
fine.
Not Junior, just so you know. But most of you, if you know me, you know I'm the third. But it's no worries because I'm still a Cecil, so it's not a big deal.
Amen.
So once again, just, you know, I guess we're sending our concern. Hopefully, if you have questions, we aren't medical. We're just going through the situation. But if you have concerns or if you have issues, just, you know, send us an email. We've had other medical professionals on the show before, and hopefully they'll be back again and they'll talk about some of the other issues that you may decide to raise with us. So even if you see this program later and you decide to respond later through email or through phone call, we will try to get in touch with someone and find out whatever your concern or issue is, because that's what we want. We want to be able to help the community. So, I don't know. I'm not sure. I just want to say once again that I love my father, and I know he loves all of you guys out there that are watching. So
yes,
yeah.
And I'm really happy you came on today with me, and it was really helpful to help me get my message across and let people know that I really love my dialysis and that I truly be enjoying going to class.
I'm glad that you decided to go, because that was an issue. My father really didn't want to go to dialysis because he didn't see the value in it. So if that's your concern, which was really talk to someone, because dialysis, it's life-saving. I mean, it's at least life-prolonging. There is value, there is necessity in undergoing dialysis. So once again, just talk to your doctors, talk to whomever you need to speak with, because without going to dialysis, if you don't receive this treatment, I don't want to be overly blunt, but you will die if you don't receive the treatment that you need.
That's very true.
Your kidneys will fail, and you will die in a very uncomfortable way. You literally drown from the inside. And even if you may not be concerned about your health, you don't want to put a family member, you don't want to force someone who loves you to sit there and watch that happen if you can avoid that. Because,
that's true.
Yes, because you are loved. Like, even if you're by yourself, you are loved by someone. You're loved by us at the very minimum. So you are loved by someone. So just take as much care of yourself as you possibly can. Do the right thing by yourself and by the ones you love and by the ones who care about you. And once again, we do hope that you will call or write or email or chat with us on YouTube or whatever, because we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to know what you think about the show, what you'd like to talk about, what you'd like to hear about. So just, once again, be in touch, and we'll try to stay in touch with you. So,
Thank you.
thank you all.
Thank you, Cecil.
Oh, better.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.